Hi everybody, it's Crafting Just Because with Chris Cowan, and today I'm featuring the Vibrant Vases stamp bundle, and it coordinates with the other Vases stamp set in the annual catalog, and then we also have a punch that punches out the vases and then the tulip and the vine. So this coordinates with this project, although this is just sold separately in the Occasions catalog, but it's going to be in the new annual catalog coming out June 3rd. So I wanted to show you a cute and easy project that we can make, and it's this little stationery holder. I do know this bow is retired, but I still use it because I love that punch. But what I did is I used a window sheet that slides over the little box that I created, and then I made a little coordinating pin, and I'll show you how to do that. And then I made some coordinating just single side note cards with matching envelopes. So we will go ahead and get started. The colors that I use today are Coastal Cabana, Granny Apple Green, Pacific Point, and then the Pineapple Punch. So we're going to need our paper trimmer, and you're going to need a piece of Granny Apple Green that is 5.5 by 7 3/4. On the 5.5 inch side, we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 5 inches. So 1/2 inch I'm going to put onto this side, and we're going to score, and then I'm going to flip it over and then score at 5. Just like that. So you should have 2 little score marks there. Then on the 7 3/4 inch side, we're going to score it again at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to score it at 6 1/4 inches and 6 3/4 inches. Just like that. Okay. Then we don't need our paper trimmer right now. What we're going to come in and do is we are going to burnish those score lines. So I'm going to fold this up and burnish these score lines. So it'll make a nice crisp edge for our box. Okay, now that we've done that, we are going to come in on the 7 3/4 inch side, and we're going to wedge these corners. So what I did is I went ahead and cut up to the score line, and then I wedged on each side, just like that. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to cut up to the score line and wedge. Yeah, that little piece doesn't want to come out. There we go. And then we're going to flip it over and rotate it and do the same thing on the 7 3/4 inch side. Wedge out, and you're going to put your wedges on that tiny little square, not on the rectangle pieces. So just like that. Okay. Then I came in with some Coastal Cabana Designer Series paper, and I cut it at 3/4 inch by 4.5. And I'm going to glue that down onto this little piece right here, because that's your little flap. And I think I want the polka dots side facing up. So you choose which side of Designer Series paper you want going forward. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down just like this. And just so you guys know, the directions to all this, in case you're not following around or following along, will be posted on my blog as well. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to form our box. And what I first want to do, I'm going to start with the flap that's going to be the top part of the box. I'm going to put glue, and you can use tear and tape or you can use this liquid multi-purpose glue, but I'm going to put glue on the little tab, the little square, and I'm going to hold it down with my finger on both sides, just like this. So we're forming that box. With the liquid multi-purpose glue, you do have to hold it for just a little bit so that it makes sure that it stays glued. And then we're going to go ahead and form the bottom of our box, and then we'll come back up and fix this top. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, put glue on those little tabs. And then glue the box together. So if you had thicker cards, so like mine was just one, it's layered cardstock, but it doesn't fold open. You could make this box as big as you wanted to. This was just a 1/2 inch deep on both sides, which is great. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold these tabs in and glue it down. So it kind of just reinforces the top part of this. So I'm gonna add glue to the tabs on both sides. Okay, and then I'm gonna fold those in. Make sure I get it in on both sides. Just like that. And then I'm gonna take my bone folder and rub it along there just to make sure we get it nice and glued down. And let it dry for just a moment. You might need to push in your box sides. So I'm gonna set that aside for just a moment. Now we're going to come in and we're going to create our card. So what I went ahead and did is I pre-cut 6 pieces of Coastal Cabana paper that were 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is going to be the base of our little note card here. And then I also cut some cardstock out of Whisper White that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And right now we want to focus just on the the Whisper White piece, because this is going to layer on top of that Coastal Cabana. So what I went ahead and did is, I thought I had this color out. I apologize, you guys. I took my Pacific Point stamp pad, and then we're going to take the vase, and we're going to stamp that on. So what I did is I'm going to use this long skinny vase. You could do this one of 2 ways. The very first one I made, as you could see, is dark on dark. But I'm going to do a second generation for the behind the color so that the leaves really show up a little bit better on the second time around. So I'm going to take a piece of scratch paper, which I have right here. Okay, let me get all this out of the way. Have too much stuff out for us. Okay, so we have our scrap paper and then our Whisper White piece of paper. And then I'm going to come in with our Pacific Point ink pad. And then this is the vase that's all filled in, okay? So I'm going to stamp it in the ink pad, and then I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp onto the cardstock, just like that. So it's a lighter version, as you can see, of the one that's on my scrap paper. So I'm going to do that to all 6 pieces of paper. Oh, whoops. Well, that one's going to be dark, so I think I'm going to do 1/2 and 1/2. I wasn't paying attention. So that one's the light one. And then we'll do another dark one. And then we'll do a light one. And then we'll do another light one. just like that. Now we're going to come in with the vase shape that's the same size as that one. Where's my stamp set? But it has the leaves on it. So then you could see that pattern come through when we stamp that right over the top of that other vase. And we're going to just do that one full strength. So I'm going to come through and I'm going to just layer that one right on the top. Okay. We're going to do the same. So here's the lighter version one. So you could really see the difference between, where's my sample one? So this is both the dark and the dark on top of each other. And then that's the light and the dark on top of each other. So it's a big difference. But I think it'll look good to have both in the same card kit. And one more light one. And then we have our dark on dark. Tone on tone. And before we put this stamp away, we're also going to stamp our vases, or our vases on to our envelopes. Okay. So let me go ahead and get our envelopes out. I have 6 envelopes here, and on the back I did 3 vases just like this. And then on the front, I flip it over and I do a vase just right there at the bottom. But I always like to have my my envelopes coordinate with my little cards. And this way too, they know which, if they had a bunch of cards, they know which goes with which. And you could also put designer series paper along the top and not stamp those as well. I just have always loved stamping on my envelopes. So a lot of stamping on this project, but that's the fun of it. Okay, 2 more envelopes here. Okay, so now we're done with Pacific Point. I can go ahead and get that one all closed up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pre-put my envelopes into our little box so that they're nice and ready to go. They're all facing the same way. Throw those in just like that. Okay. Now we want to come in and do our flowers onto our little note cards here. And so you're going to want to be using Memento ink, because Memento you can use to color in with your blends and it won't bleed. And I'm going to be using our dark Pineapple Punch and our Mango Melody dark Stampin' Blend when I color these, as well as the combo set of the Granny Apple Green blend. So I got to get the Granny Apple Green out here. Let me go ahead and do that. Sorry about my hand reach there. Got to get them out of my holder. But now I'm going to come in with my Memento ink and I'm going to stamp the flowers right on top of this vase. Just like that. Whoops, see, I didn't get it down low enough. I didn't want my head in the picture. There we go. I need to move up a little bit. Sorry guys, I was trying to stamp and make sure they're all lined up. Okay. And then one last thing. And before we color those in, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the saying around the card. And the saying that I used out of this great set is just for you because it was one line versus the other ones have multiple lines. So we're going to get just for you out. And then we're going to put it on our block. And I like to start at the top. Make sure that's nice and straight. So I'm going to go ahead and come in and at the very edge, stamp just for you, just like this. And then you're going to kind of go off the edge just on that side. And then I'm only going to do one just for you going down towards the flower. Oops. And then I'm going to do 2 down on the bottom. And then we'll do 3 along the side here. Just like that. So it leaves room for you to write a little note in there. Okay, so let's do the rest of these. I'm gonna whoops. Uh-oh, what's going on here? I need to go back and fix those Y's there. See if I can do it on camera here. I think my Memento ink pad needs to be re-inked. Okay. There we go. Yeah, my Memento ink pad definitely needs to be re-inked. We're almost done, you guys. I won't promise I won't keep you too long. But this is a fun project that you can give away to somebody, and it's just a whole kit all in one. Okay, we have 2 more to stamp. Last one. Okay, so now we're all done with that. And now we can come in and color our flowers. Let's see what we got going on here. So put the stamp set away. Okay, so what I did is I took my dark pineapple punch and I colored in all the leaves of the flowers. Now this stamp set also has one that has the fill-ins for these, so you wouldn't have to color them in, but I love to color, so I was going to go ahead and do those. Then I'm going to take the dark Mango Melody, and where you see the little lines on the flowers and then the centers, that's where I'm going to do some shading. just like that. And then I come in with the dark Granny Apple Green and I do the stems of the leaves here. And then I'll color in with that light one on the leaves, the light Granny Apple Green, and blend that together. Just like that. And then once you're done, we'll add that to a Coastal Cabana piece. So let's come through and color a few more here. I also came in and used my Wink Stella and blended it all together once I had them all colored in. So I could show you guys that too here. So this is what I just came in with my Wink Stella, and on the flowers I kind of blended that all in together and made them sparkly. So let's do the same thing on this one here. Okay, once you have all 6 of your pieces colored, then what you're going to do is you're going to come in with that Coastal Cabana that's cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and you're going to layer that down right in the center. So you're going to layer that Whisper White piece right down into the center of that Coastal Cabana piece. And then your note card's done, because essentially it's just a little note card. So just like that. And then you can add it to your little box. I'll layer a couple more down. Put some glue on. And we'll do one more. And then I'll show you how to make the window sheet lid and the little tag for the front. Okay, so now you're going to add that to your card kit. Before we do the window sheet though, I cut a piece of Whisper White cardstock that was 3 1/4 inches long by 1 inch. And I stamped those same flowers on there and colored them just like we did on there. And then what I'm going to do is, if you take these RSVP pens, you can unscrew the bottom. And if you roll this nice and tight, so I kind of start off and just kind of roll it with my fingers. You could also use a bone folder and kind of go like to get the fibers broken down a little bit. And you just kind of roll it up into, keep rolling. And then you're going to stick it inside the pin to decorate that pin so it matches your cute little card kit that you can give to somebody. Once you get it kind of started, then what I do is I take the pin base and I wrap it around the pin base. So you have something kind of hard in there to follow. There we go, just like that. Then I put it in, and I kind of just use my, there we go, pointed tip to get it all the way in there. Put your pin in, screw it up, and now you have your pin. Okay, so now you're going to take a window sheet that is 5 3/4 inches by 11 inches. And on the 11-inch side, so we gotta get our Stampin' Trimmer out again. On the 11-inch side, you're gonna score it at 2.5. So we're gonna come in and put it in 2.5. At 3. At 7 3/4. And then at 8 1/4. Just like that. So those are your score lines. So then I come in and I'm going to burnish those score lines down, making sure that I get it nice and flat. So I'm going to come in with my bone folder and then do the same on the other one. Go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of tear-in tape down on one edge. And you will see this a little bit. It'll come through that window sheet. It is in the back, so you could always cover it up with designer series paper or a ribbon if it really bothers you. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your card box and you're going to wrap it around your card box, just like so. Okay, flip it over. And then that piece that has the tear-in tape on it, whoops, sorry, my camera totally got hit, you guys. I apologize, I didn't even notice that. The piece with your tear-in tape on it, that's gonna be the piece that goes down last. So you're gonna peel off that tear-in tape. I hope my camera wasn't bad for a long time. I really apologize, you guys. Maybe I can edit that out. And you're gonna flip it over like that, and then you're done on that side. Then I come in with the tag punch, and then I also cut some stuff to make a bow, even though I know that that is retired. But what I'll show you guys how to make a quick bow using that bow punch. You cut out 2 sets. You're going to take your bone folder and you're going to kind of go like that on the 2 big pieces that look like this. Okay, then you're going to glue the ends together just like so. And again, on this one, you decide which side of the paper you want. I'm going to use the stripes. Glue these 2 ends down. Oops. Hold that down for just a moment. Then I'm going to glue the 2 bows together, just like this on top of each other. Hold it for just a moment, and then you have this tiny little piece that it cuts out, and you're going to wrap that around your bow so that you don't see the icky edges. And then I make sure that those are glued down on each side. So I put a little bit of glue on the back of each side of those, just like that. And then you should just have these 2 little flaps left. And on the back, you're gonna just put a strip of glue. Make sure you put the view you want facing up like that, since this is the back. So do that, just like that on that side. And just like that on that side. So there's your pretty bow. Let me hold it for just a moment, make sure it's nice and glued down. Yep, see, came off with my finger. There we go. And then I'm going to glue it here to the top of the box. Just like so, right in the center. While we let that dry for a moment, you're going to take your tag. I forget what punch this is called, but you're going to put holes on both sides. So I'm using my Crocodile and I'm putting a hole on each end, just like that. And then I come in with my baker's twine that's in Whisper White. And I thread it through the left-hand side, just like that. And then up through the right side. And then I want this right in the center. Whoops, I didn't have my bow glued down all the way. I'll fix that here in just a moment. Okay, then I'm gonna tie a bow or tie a knot first. So it's around the box, kind of tight, not real tight, because I'm gonna keep it to where you don't have to take the bow off. You could just slide it off with the cover. So I want a little bit of a knot there, and then I can adjust this to where it's in the center too. And then I'm going to tie a bow on the side, and then I'll cut off my ends, and that'll be your gift for today. There you guys have it. There's your gift for using the Vibrant Faces stamp set. I thank you guys for joining me today. I apologize for the camera shifting there. I will try to edit that out if I can. If not, just bear with me. I'm learning how to do all this stuff. But I appreciate you guys joining me. And until next week, I'll talk to you later. Bye, my creative peeps.